I will just say that I live on about half, maybe a little bit more than
A
half, a
little.
little bit more than half of my Social Security check. Okay.
Mhm.
And the other half I sock
Because
in the bank.
So today we are heading over to one of my favorite countries of all time, Italy, with my friends Brant and Fabi. Brant, Fabi, thank you for being on the podcast.
Thank you,
thank you.
Raimi. Glad to
I
be here.
I just want to say, to the viewers that Brant was my first podcast that I've done on this YouTube channel, and I'm forever grateful to this man. And he's married Fabi, who's from Italy. And one of the things that they do, and I'm going to let you guys introduce yourself, but they're authors of a few books. Um, Brant, you wrote this amazing book called Blue Skyways.
Yes.
And this was one of those books that I couldn't put down. I literally couldn't put it down until the end. It was very good. And then you guys just wrote this other one, Fabi's Story. I love it. I haven't read this one yet, but I plan on jumping into it over the holiday. But thank you for your brilliance behind the work because I really, really loved Blue Skyways, and I look forward to reading the next one. So tell us a little bit about you two, and you guys have this amazing life. You're living in Italy, but yet you also have a nice, beautiful place in a really interesting part of Turkey. I want to stay focused on Italy today, but tell us a little bit about your backstory, who you are, where you two are from, and how you landed in this part of Italy, and share what part of Italy it is.
All right. Well, I'll go first just by saying thank you for reading Blue Skyways. And if you thought that was a page turner, then you're really going to love Far and Wild. That's even more so because it tells Fabi's story of traveling as a single woman for 20 years through 100 plus countries. And then in the final two chapters, she meets me in a hostel in southern Portugal. So that answers your
Whoa.
question, how we met. That was a couple of years ago. We'll be
How
together now
nice.
5 years. Yeah, this coming February will be our fifth year together. And we got married 2 years ago. Yeah. Okay. So I better get that right.
Yeah.
I want to live
Wow.
in Italy because she's Italian. Obviously, I'm American, and living with an Italian,
And I have a
you
knife.
got to keep the knives, because she'll, the Mediterranean woman is not to be trifled with.
Uh-oh. Can't mess with them. That's right.
They're strong. Yeah.
Yeah. And
So
Fabi,
yeah,
how
that
how
way.
about how about you?
I'm from Melzo. I
Okay.
born here and I
That's here.
live here in this town. And I live Melzo at 27 years old for, I don't know, for discover the world, for travel, for have a new life. And I abandoned this town. There is quite a boring town, I have to say. But nowadays, in my day, Milano was a very nice city, and everybody they love to live there. Now it's a little bit different. Milano is full of immigrants. It's a little bit dangerous, more dangerous than before. And the people tendency they want to go out of the in the province, in the outside Milano, and this town where we live is in that
It's
area.
25 minutes by train from
Yeah,
Milan.
for
Okay.
stop by train, very very easy to reach. Is we spend the same time when we say goodbye to my best friends. Then he live in Milano, and we live here. We arrive at home in the same time for
Mhm.
understand. because it's very easy, more easy here than in Milano city center and surrounding.
So if we want a taste of the big city, which we often do, we take the train into
Now we
Milan.
go there.
Our
Mhm.
favorite pizza restaurant is there.
For us was convenient go to live in move to Italy for the Schengen area visa. There was the first problem. Then we encountered like a couple. He has 90 days in the country and 100 in 180 days. And this period was a little bit limited for us. And we have to live in Turkey also for go out of the Schengen area, stay outside for a while, 2, 3 months, and come back, and we start again from 0 to 90 days. Go
Wow.
out and again.
Do you
And live in Italy is convenient because we have free access to all Europe, the 28 country, if I'm not wrong, then the Schengen area is part of.
My question is because you're married to a national from the European Union, why does the Schengen apply to you?
It didn't, but our first years together, I was not married, and and I was actually completely ignorant of the Schengen 90-day restriction that obligated me to leave the Schengen zone uh, every 90 days.
Any country
Right.
you have to live basically
That's
every
true. Yeah, that's true for most
because
countries.
because
Right.
now the next January when our resident permit in Turkey expire after 3 times then we renovate we have to abandon that
We're
one.
going to have to do the shuffle for
And
Turkey as
we have
well.
to do the shuffle for Turkey as well because we don't have anymore the residency there for new rules. Then they have to apply to the country, and we have to abandon, and we have to keep only our residence here in Italy.
So there were reasons why I wanted to be able to stay in the Schengen zone for more than 90 days. And that was one of the reasons, apart from true love, that made us get married, is because once we tied the knot, then I was eligible for Italian residency, which I got.
Yes.
And then I didn't have to do the shuffle anymore. I can stay here as long as I need to.
Yeah.
Right. So now you're good to go, but I mean, you can go anywhere once you have residency, right? In Europe, where you can go anywhere and the Schengen doesn't apply anymore?
Correct.
Correct. Some place they accepted only your ID, Italian ID. In some place they want also the passport. You have to show both document. Depends of the people then you can encounter in your immigration office in that moment.
Yeah.
Depend. I suggest to everybody to carry always both because most of the time they say I want also the passport for control the nationality and so.
Right.
But yes, is under the Italian government now. We have the address here. He have the um, how can I say the insurance? Like in Italy, we have the system is from the government, okay,
Mhm.
and we
The
have
healthcare
the
system.
healthcare
Yeah.
system. We have just one card. Then we show when we go to doctor or when we go in the pharmacy, and that number is the number
It's
for
basically European Union healthcare.
and
Mhm.
then you can
So,
use in all European country, but outside of Italy you have to pay in advance. When you come back in Italy, they give you back the money. I never tried this one, but they think there is working like this. But if you need something in Italy, you have to pay just the ticket. The ticket is you go at the hospital, they show you what is the bill. There is 300 euro. You have to pay just 20 euro. This
Mhm.
one is the ticket. If you
Wow.
show Okay, and this one working for Brand because we need
Yeah.
some hospital I don't know examination from Brand, and Brand pay 20 euro like I normally pay 20, 23, depends 18, depends of which kind of examination do you need.
So my
Yeah.
taxes here, my income taxes are higher than they would be in the United States,
Hmm.
but I don't have to pay for healthcare insurance at the same rate that I would in the US. In fact, I don't pay for any healthcare insurance right now. I rely entirely on the public healthcare system provided by the EU that I get by way of my residency in Italy.
But
Hmm.
it's it's a very if you need one appointment, sometimes you have to wait months, okay? Months, almost here. For example, we Italian, we decide that then if you wanted to have the eyes examination, we don't want to wait 1 year. We
Hmm.
want to go private and we pay $100 and we have the
Right.
day
Yeah.
after.
It,
And this one is the problem. Then sometimes, for example, he asked for the X-ray for
X-ray. Yeah.
the chest. We have immediately the day after, and we were very lucky. But this morning, we asked for one other examination, and it was a long time, and we buy for private.
So I
Okay,
opted for
for a private.
a private doctor. You have to pay out of pocket for that,
Yeah,
Hmm.
and so you kind of, have,
you
and it's
balance.
the same way in Turkey. It's exactly the same.
That's why
The public hospital is good, but and it's cheap, but sometimes you have to wait a long
a
time.
long time.
And
Yeah,
Hmm.
if you want expedient care and you want the best of the best, then you have to pay
you have to.
Yeah.
private.
Yeah. And it doesn't sound like it's that costly when you compare it to US prices.
Oh yeah, yeah,
The US is
absolutely.
insane.
There's
Yeah.
It's control.
So
we
it's
pay a
almost like the best of both worlds because you can pay out of pocket to get in quickly to see at a very affordable price. And then if something, you
It
know,
is at
catas
present,
yeah, if
but
something catastrophic happens, you have the public health care to back you up and you're fully covered.
Yeah,
presently
yeah.
it
They
works.
come to pick at you with the helicopter or with the ambulance. Without you don't have to pay nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You have any kind of surgery. Surgeries. My father have a surgery now, multiple surgery for the cancer. They pay like 30 euro for one
Okay.
surgery.
Wow.
It's
Yeah,
crazy.
cheap.
And they have a very good care of him. He was very well cared. And for 30 euro, for 50 euro, for something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
We do hear horror stories, before people start getting too carried away with the idea of universal health care. We hear horror stories coming out of the UK, and they've got a similar system, but we have a lot of British friends and neighbors, especially in Turkey, and they are not happy
Yeah.
with the healthcare in their country.
Yeah.
So, it can, so right now it's good, and I don't have any complaints, but then I'm also normally very, very healthy. So I don't
Mm.
often go to the
Yeah,
doctor.
yeah. And
Yeah.
also we calculate how is the percentage of the Italian government taxes. 26% of your
Yeah, the
income.
taxes are
The taxes
higher,
are very
but
high.
I
Eh?
just did a little bit of mental hijinks,
Yeah.
and I basically just said, okay, well, yes, I'm going to pay more for taxes, but I don't pay as much for health insurance. So in the end, I probably am coming out, better.
I don't know if you've noticed this, but many sites out there do not have up-to-date information, making it very challenging to find the information that you need. At AdventureFreaks.com, we know just how frustrating it is to track down reliable details on visas, retirement options, income requirements, how much your pensions will be taxed, and how it all fits into your budget. That's why we've partnered with Lexity Law, a trusted immigration law firm located in Italy. Now you can go straight to the source to get the most accurate and up-to-date information. All you have to do is visit AdventureFreaks.com, select Italy, and select Immigration and Visas to book a free consultation today. You can also scan the QR code on the screen, as well as click the link in the description below. Now let's get back to the video. Let me ask you this, Brant, I don't know if you know the answer to this. Taxes are always a complicated thing, but in Italy, if you buy in certain areas where where they're attempting to repopulate towns, you get a 7% tax break
That's
Yeah,
true.
on your
yes.
Yeah.
income. So obviously, you guys are up in Milan. A lot of people love to live in northern Italy because it's just gorgeous. But you do not get that tax break. So now you're
Correct.
paying in the bracket. But my big question is that there is a dual taxation treaty with the United States.
Yes.
So I'm guessing that one of one of them will cancel the other out because you're only paying for one. Is that correct in how I am breaking
Well,
that down?
I'm just coming up on my first tax year in Italy, so I'm a little bit
Okay,
cloudy on
Yeah.
exactly
gotcha.
how it's going to work. So far, I've been, meeting all my tax obligations in the U.S., and now I'm just coming up to where I'm going to have to meet them here, and I'll see in April like how it all flashes out. And then apparently, I guess Trump is saying that he's going to end the double taxation on American citizens living outside of the
Oh,
United
he
States.
did. Okay, I have not
Yeah,
heard that.
he's made that commitment, right? So we'll see how that plays out. In a year, let's have another conversation, and I'll let you know how it works. But
Okay,
I'm not
interesting.
quite an expert. But as for the 7%,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, it's
Italy.
true. They started to do what the Portugal did because a lot of Italian they run away and go to live in Portugal, but
Hmm.
a lot of retire they go there because the tax is only 7% of
Right.
the bill and is a lot of money. But the problem is in this little town, then they sell this beautiful house for $1. You don't have airport close.
No
You don't have
hospital, no
Right.
hospital.
school.
You are
Yeah.
abandoned by
You need a plumber.
yourself.
Hey, the plumber has to fly in, I mean
Yeah.
that's the
The
the devil's in
disadvantage.
the details is, people hear about these houses for $1 and they want to run there, but the villages are basically abandoned, and so you don't have the
And
resources.
when we say abandon in Italy, we say abandon. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean there is one person in the city center and close the window when you pass by. They
Yeah.
are very mentally very close, the Italians sometimes. So don't
Yeah.
watch the movie and think that we are woo super welcoming because it's not always like that. The
Yeah.
small town our mentality is from the small town
Even
and
here in
only.
Melzo, this close
Yeah.
to the big city, nobody speaks English here. You
Right.
know, I'm struggling to get,
Yes.
spun up on Italian as quickly as I can. Fortunately, I have Fabi, but yeah, this town doesn't have much of an international community at all, which is something I miss because I like it in Turkey. Turkey is much more international. You have a lot people
Yeah.
from all over the world there.
Yeah.
But
That's
here,
one of, yep. It's one of the
Italian,
things. Yeah.
me.
Yeah, it's one of the things we've talked about a lot in Italy. It's one of the few countries that if you do buy a €1 house and you move into some of these smaller rural towns that are absolutely gorgeous, the people that are remaining do not speak English. And so you really need to know how to speak Italian. And it's different in Spain. It's different in Portugal. But it's
Okay.
but it's like there's expats from all over Spain and Portugal. But you get to Italy, if you want to live in one of these beautiful rural towns, they look great. They look great on YouTube and all these videos, but nobody speaks English there, and you really have to learn how to get by with Italian.
Well, that's because Portugal and Spain were both a lot more successful at attracting expats from the UK. They were
Yes.
leaving the foggy, rainy weather of the UK for the sunny shores of Spain or the Algarve in
Yes.
Portugal. where Fabi and I met, and there's a lot more British people there, and so
Yeah.
there's a lot more English.
Yes.
No,
Italy was a little
Italy, no.
slow on the draw, which is what Fabi mentioned a moment ago. She said they're trying to compete with Portugal by offering these low tax rates to try to get people to populate mostly the southern parts of Italy, which are the parts that are drying up.
Brant, really quickly, just explain to the viewers, because we talked about this earlier, what the Schengen is so that they understand what we were talking about earlier. Just explain that briefly.
Well, most of Europe is in something called the Schengen area. There's a few exceptions here and there, like Andorra and I don't know,
Yeah.
one or two others.
Yes.
But you can basically assume that most of the major European countries, France, Germany, Italy, are part of this thing called the Schengen zone.
Right.
And it's kind of like the United States in that they're collaborating so that you don't have to show a lot of paperwork to cross the border,
No, zero, zero.
Zero
Is
pay.
they
Just
remove the border
yeah.
between all the Schengen
So it's
area.
like if you go from
Before,
Virginia to North Carolina, you don't have to show any pay. You just
as I said,
go, right? And
you
it's
go.
Right.
it's now the same when you go from France to
We can,
Germany.
we can use one phone. You can use your Italian phone also in all the area. When before you have to change and change SIM card and
Mhm.
pay. But now, no, we are all,
So it's part of the
it's like a
EU's effort to kind of create this,
big
United
country.
States-like thing where
Yeah.
you can just move around freely.
They're
And
turning Fabi, they're turning the your area into the US. How do you feel?
I've got the McDonald's already. Oh my God. An American citizen does not need a visa to come to Europe,
Mhm.
uh, and or to any of the Schengen zone countries. You can just come over.
Come over.
And but you do, however, need to keep track of how many days you are
In
in the Schengen zone.
all the
Any
area.
Schengen
Okay?
zone country, you have to keep track. One, two,
Good.
three, and you are not to exceed 90 in any 180-day window. So it's a little bit, you have to understand that, time is moving. You have to, if you come into a Schengen zone country and you stay for 10 days and then you leave, then, the 180-day window is always moving forward. Then you come back and you stay for 30 days. And basically, you just have to keep count. And there are Schengen zone calculators online that you can use that are very
Okay.
convenient. So you can
Yeah.
say, all right, I came in on this day and I left on that day. I went back to the United States. Then I came back again on this day and I left on that day, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And the Schengen zone calculator will tell you if you're in the 90 days or not.
Right.
You
Okay.
exceed the 90 days, then the EU can penalize you. They can fine you. They can even block you
Banyo.
from coming back. They can
Mhm.
say you're not welcome here anymore because you violated our rules. So that's what they call the Schengen shuffle. You have to
Yeah.
keep track of that. When you get a residency in any Schengen zone country like Portugal or Italy, you don't have to worry about that anymore. That
Mhm.
problem goes away.
So when you're in Europe and you're in the Schengen zone, you hit 90 days, then you have to leave. How
Right.
soon how soon can you return after?
Another 90 days.
Another night.
So you got to wait 3 months before you can return back to Europe.
And this is
Yeah.
true for most countries, not just the Schengen zone.
No,
It's true for
everywhere.
Turkey too, or Egypt. A lot of those countries have that same requirement. Yeah.
That's all right. That's great information. Thanks for explaining that. Fabi, I mean, so it sounds to me like you just had this incredible yearning to experience the world and learn from different places and different cultures, and that was much more interesting to you than kind of like you're just staying in a country like most people do and growing up in Italy. Does that sound like it's accurate?
Sounds like very good. I
Yeah.
abandoned my work, 9 here in the office. I abandoned my boyfriend, 9 here in the same house. and I abandoned everything and I
Oh.
ran away. The first 6 months there was a mess. And after was a mess, a mess, a mess, until then I can find my way to the money because first of all you have to have some money because travel need not so much a lot of money, but a little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah.
And you can work and travel in the same time like I do because I find the boat give me the opportunity to travel and be paid sometimes and
Hmm.
sometimes not, and continue this incredible life in 20 years around of the world and without no stop and
Hmm.
for waiting my paradise, my perfect place. But the perfect place was not a place, but was
And you're Prince Charming. Don't forget that too.
yeah, my love. And now until then I find my love, and uh, and now I come back in Melzo with him. That is completely crazy because before I can stay in Melzo like three, 3, 4, 5 days, 1 week, and after that I have to book immediately and never fly because was impossible for me. But now I live here.
But we use Melzo like there was a method to our madness. I mean, we knew that Melzo was a small town without an international community and that we weren't going to connect here with people the same way we do, for example, in Dacia. But we were going to use it as a home base for the airports, which were vastly better, cheaper travel,
Yeah, we feel.
better food.
Better food. About the food and about how to live in Italy. Italy is cheap. If I have to compare to United States, United States is we stayed there like 1 month ago. We were there and it was
It's
incredible for
expensive.
me. Was absolutely is a shock.
Yeah.
It's a really big shock because
Yeah.
in Italy you can have your cappuccino for $7. You can. Okay, in Italy you can, or you can have your cappuccino for $2 or
Mm.
one and a half, and it's the same. You
Yeah.
you can decide. It's more elastic than you can decide wherever you want. Also, if you go to the grocery store where one apple costs €1, or you can go in the grocery store where one apple costs 10 cents. In
Mhm.
Italy, you have this. You can choose, and it's
Yeah.
good. And we have this fantastic restaurant, and then we call Trattoria, where there is this fa-
Fantastic.
fantastic lunch for the worker because in Italy the lunch is a lunch. It's
Hmm.
not exist the little box then you arrive at home. No, in Italy you have to sit on table, chat with your friend, stay 1 hour outside of your work, and later come back. This one is culture. And in Italy, we have this lunch
Hmm.
meal
It's a big
in
meal.
big
Yeah.
meal in almost all the restaurant, almost, and they cost 12
Yeah,
euro.
so for 12 euros, which is about $12, because it's
Yeah.
right now
Now,
it's about 1 to 1, you get
ev-
a
ev-
delicious pasta dish as a primo, which is in itself enough.
I
For
know.
somebody like me, it would be
Sure.
like, okay, I'm done. Because it comes with bread, a flask of wine, and I would be satisfied, but it's just the start because then they come with the secundo, which is the second dish, and that's normally a meat dish, which is
Hmm.
in itself another meal. So by the time you're done, you're full. I mean,
Yeah,
you've
yeah.
got a lot of calories there, and for these workers, they need it,
They
Yeah.
need it.
and that's $12. Uh, two courses and as much wine as you want to drink during the midday, and it's all
Water, coffee,
delicious. I mean, we're talking really good Italian food
very good
for
Italian.
12
So
bucks.
for a lunch for both of you, you're looking at about $25.
Yeah,
Correct.
correct.
Okay.
And that's kind of that's about what we pay all through, when we travel, like we normally expect to pay between 25 and $35 for a big, delicious lunch with wine or a dinner with
Hmm.
wine. That's kind of normal for us. So
Yeah.
like, and when we go to the Greek islands, I think we pay 34
32, 34, yeah.
bucks, but
It's
not
all
none of this crazy stuff like in the US, where you spend $100 for that kind of a meal. No.
Sure.
18 $18 for a omelette in US.
I
I say,
know. I know.
what's happening to you guys?
Too
The
expensive
omelette is 2 eggs. My God.
because
Yeah.
it's 3 eggs, baby. 3 eggs.
Okay, it's three
That's
eggs.
why.
No, it's really fascinating, and it's why there's such a movement of people that are it's not just the US, it is Canada, it's UK, it's
Yeah.
Australia. There's a variety of countries that people are leaving because the cost of living is so astronomical. So people
Yeah.
are now looking for alternatives. Well, let's run through you guys and break down some of these costs of living and what you can share on these quickly. So in Melzo, you're
Mhm.
about 25 minutes outside of Milan.
Yeah,
You purchased a house. Let's just start with what can you get a house for out there? I mean, there are, like you were talking about, Fabi, there are incredible buys all over Italy, all over Italy. The $1 houses, but I mean, you can still purchase 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, name your price on homes all over Italy. And it does
absolutely.
even in Tuscany. What are they going for in Melzo where you guys purchased your home?
Yeah,
Well, first of all, our house is tiny. It's less than 500 square feet.
Okay.
And we paid, I think, 126,000 euros
exactly.
for it.
Plus
Okay.
10,000 is expensive.
Yeah, so by the time all the dust settled, it was
Yeah.
136,000.
Okay.
Um, and it's in the city center, so we don't have a car. We walk everywhere. If we want to, like this morning, we went out for a little stroll. We went and had a cappuccino and a brioche, literally right around the corner. Kind of everything we need is a 2-minute walk away.
Yeah, we have a train station
The
for
train
go.
station's 10 minutes walk away. So
Yeah,
we don't have a car and we prefer not having a car.
yeah.
Sure.
For me
Yeah.
personally, that was one of my bugaboos living in the US is I had to have a car to do everything and I didn't
Yes.
like that.
Yes.
And in Italy, the petrol, it's very expensive,
Yeah.
by the
Mhm.
way. Um,
Yes.
have
Yeah.
a car, it's a luxury.
Well,
They have
we stay
every people
healthy.
they have, but they is cost. It's cost a little. It's not cheap like in the US. That's
Right.
what.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you save a lot of money by not having a car
yeah.
if you can
Mhm.
avoid it. And you,
The public transportation is not very expensive. For example, one ticket train for Milano is €3. There is something then it's
about three
okay.
bucks.
$3, and you can have your discount like then you buy a monthly payment. You can have for €2 instead than three for 30 days. You have this facility,
Mhm.
then they are almost very affordable. And about the electricity bill or wherever it is, we pay the trash in Italy twice a year. There
Okay.
is around €50 for twice a year. Is
Okay.
110 euro a year for your trash because
Okay.
there is a mess with the trash in Italy. Okay. Also, we have electricity bill. In our cases, we pay around 60 euro a month. And this one is the problem. Is the problem then we spend €4 of electricity, but the rest is tax.
Okay.
Okay. Italy, the tax are crazy, especially for electricity bill or water, something like this. The tax are very high. It's better for you than you use the house more than we do because we
Yeah.
are not always here and we spend 4 or 5 euro a month of electricity, but the rest was the tax. Is the tax
which we have to pay whether we're here or
anyway?
not.
Anyway,
So you mentioned $60 for the electricity per
yeah,
month, but you're
yeah.
paying a tax as well?
No, no, that
No,
includes the tax.
That
include the tax.
includes the tax.
But
Yeah.
but the really expense is 4 euro.
The of that $60, only $4 of it is for the electricity. The rest of it is the government,
Tax.
padding
Tax.
its pockets.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay. So
Yeah,
that's,
yeah.
wow,
It's
that's steep.
different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because in
Now,
Italy, all these bill, every building you have are more tax than the real bill. This one
yeah.
is the problem here. Then you have to pay more tax than the really is your expense because in other cases there is not so many money, but you have to pay. Also, when you buy the house, you pay the government ridiculous tax, then they are 9% of your the price of the apartment, then they are a lot of money.
Mhm.
Plus you have to pay 6% to the agency then buy your apartment. You have to pay the notary. There is almost the 5,000
That's all the
euro.
10,000 on top of the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
26.
And is a little bit expensive, this kind of stuff in Italy. Also, we have what we have. We have the hot water. Then in our cases is not very expensive because we use the solar panel. Another
Okay.
problem that you have in Italy is be careful when you buy the house, the class then your house is from.
Yeah, that's
That's
actually
the
really
easiest way.
important because the cost of the house will depend on this class, which
Class.
goes from A to G, A,
Yeah,
B, C, D, E, F, G. And the higher the class, the more expensive the house because it's better insulated and your utility bills go down. It's actually pretty hard to find Class A and B houses in Italy. Excuse me, because all these old places are drafty and not well insulated, so they tend to be Fs and Gs, and they're less expensive, but they're going to be drafty and cold, and you got to spend a lot of money to keep them warm. So
Yeah.
that's something you notice that when you go shopping is wow,
That's good info. What do
yeah,
you
the
guys think you pay overall for utilities per month?
total. All
Total.
right, tax,
class.
trash, phone, uh,
200, 300.
So if you
two,
keep phone out of it, because I'll keep that separate. Just
right, just taxes, uh,
water, electric,
water, heat,
gas, or propane.
it's going to be closer to 200.
Yeah, 200.
So
I can
200.
say
Yeah.
around 200. We are lucky because our electricity bill, no electricity, sorry, heater, the heater, we have the floor heating
Yeah.
because our house is class B and
Ooh,
we spend not a lot of money, but if you have the heater then normally they have you spend in the winter around 600-700 euro of
okay.
only heater.
Because the heat's
This
going out the cracks. Uh,
Gotcha.
so that's
okay?
that again, when you get one of these €1 houses, they're probably hundreds of years old, and
Yeah.
they're not insulated. That's kind of like our house in Turkey is
Yeah.
not well insulated, which is another reason we came here was we spent a couple winters in our Turkey house, and it was cold and drafty.
Hmm.
We don't pay as much.
Yeah.
We don't pay nearly as much for utilities. It's much
No,
cheaper
it's
there
€3 there.
for
The
electricity
electricity is three
and no
euro.
tax.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
way cheaper,
Sure.
but much less comfortable in the winter when it got really windy and cold there. We're right
Hmm.
on the coast, and so we were experiencing a lot of wind and cold and rain. And we just said, after a couple winters there, we said, we think we want to be a little warmer. So
Hmm.
we bought this place, which, as Fabi said, is a Class B, heated floors, thick walls, well insulated, and we stay toasty warm.
Yeah.
Nice. Very
But it's
nice.
small. It's small. Not, I don't think a lot of, it depends on your relationship with your partner if you're going to be okay living in a place that's only 500 square meters.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
pretty small.
That's well, 500 square meters. That's probably what
I
about
mean, 500 square feet, sorry.
500 square feet. Okay. Okay. All right.
500.
So, yeah. And it's like, so, and I think that when you think of Italy, I mean, you guys paid 126K. That, you, that's not really cheap. But but a lot of people that look, they're always looking further south where all of these, amazing houses that you can buy are down there. But then you're talking about probably a G house or,
Yeah.
where you're going to have no
Yeah.
insulation or any of that.
Well,
And
plus you're also not buying uh you're less likely to buy in what I call the path of progress. I mean, if you go out into Melzo, there's cranes all over the city. They're
yes,
building they're building up new condos as fast as they can, and these will be A and B class places. They'll sell for a lot more. They're going to sell for two and $300,000,
Yeah. Yeah.
300,000 K
It,
plus,
but
but they're going to be well insulated and brand new, and they have all the same advantages in that they're 25 minutes from Milan. So people are going to live there and work in the big city.
yeah.
And
hmm,
and so all of this growth and development in Melzo is pushing the capital value of our place up.
hmm,
We're not, it's not like buying a place down in southern Italy where it's struggling to stay alive and
yeah.
you don't know what will happen to your investment.
Yeah, well, I think that that's a great point too, because I think northern Italy, if you want to invest in a property where you're going to get your money back or it's even sellable, you gotta purchase somewhere up where you guys are at.
Yeah.
But you're gonna pay more. But
I mean,
again,
I would be open to live. I would definitely be open to living in Southern Europe and
Yeah.
taking advantage of the 7% tax and so forth. But it requires a lot more homework.
yeah,
And you need to take your steps more carefully than, coming into Melzo where you see that all this development is going on and you say, okay, it's probably going to be a pretty good bet that there'll be demand for my place when I want to go and sell it.
hmm, okay. All right, good info. Okay, so what are you guys paying for Wi-Fi and cell down there? What can
Okay. Wi-Fi in internet is around €25 a month.
okay.
And we have our phone, one normal phone, then you have a SIM card. You can pay like €10 a month.
These prices are not radically superior to the US. I think the point for us, at least, is the quality of life is truly radically, in my opinion, is better. I mean, I like
But depends, depends. You
it.
cannot
Yeah,
say, no,
I know
no,
it's not
it's
for
not.
everybody.
It's
That's
not for
for me. For
Yeah.
me, I like it better.
But
Yeah.
it depends what do you want. There is people that they
Yes.
cannot live in the for 50 in the 50-meter square with a small TV like we have. They say is unacceptable
And
for
there's not
me.
a Walmart nearby or anything.
Exactly. There is all. We go for a shopping by walk, in bicycle, and we have
But I like that.
a medium
Yeah.
supermarket, medium mall. I can say that in US is probably the dressing room. From
Mhm.
our supermarket is the dressing room in
We
US.
have two baskets on the front of our bikes,
Yeah.
and when we need to go get groceries, we jump on our bikes and we ride 20 minutes to the grocery store, rain or shine. We load up the baskets and we come back. For
And
me, that's a joy.
the
Yeah,
price are
absolutely.
you can fill your small refrigerator. You see? Very small. In
Yeah.
US, probably is not the one, I don't know, the freezer is like this in
It's a
US.
Mickey Mouse
As a Mickey
refrigerator.
Mouse, but for 50 euro, you can refill all this refrigerator for anything that you need. Cheese,
Good
water,
cheese.
good
Yeah.
cheese,
Yeah.
meat, some meat,
Yeah.
50
And
euro.
they have a market in town every Tuesday and Saturday, so you can go out and buy
Your
fresh vegetables and things like that.
Yes, you have your eggs from the farmer. You have your cheese from the farmer. You can you
It's just a different way
and
of living.
the wine is very cheap in
Oh,
Italy.
the wine
The
is,
wine is cheap.
yeah, you can get a good bottle of wine for $2.
Wow.
It's
What do you
very
guys think you budget for groceries per month?
oh my God, for months is
I don't know,
300
at the
of
most.
yeah maximum. But we are not really like. Anybody because we eat most of the time outside because we are around and we enter
We like to
it's so
eat out.
cheap, it's so cheap eat in this place where they fill you with everything that you need for 12 euro. It's
Yeah.
sometimes it's more cheap than cook, believe
Sure.
or then sometimes often we stay
I,
outside
I, I will just say that I live on about half, maybe a little bit more than
a
half,
little
a little bit more than half of my Social Security check. Okay.
Mhm.
And the other half I sock
because
in the bank.
because we don't have a rent.
I don't,
Because in Italy, the
Yes.
rent, one
we
apartment
pay
like this
cash for the
one,
house, so we don't have a mortgage. We don't pay rent. We
in
don't own a car. We
one
take,
one rent like one apartment like this, then one couple then is a fresh marriage want to is around 700 euro in Melzo.
Wow. In
if you've got
Melzo, you're going to pay 700 for that apartment?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, 700 and the utility is outside, of course.
Quickly, what do you guys do for entertainment?
we're ready to plunk down and watch a movie. That's what we like watching films. So we do
Hmm.
a lot of that.
Hmm.
We're readers, so we both read. Um, and I like to write. I still really enjoy writing a lot, so I spend a lot of time writing short stories and other books and things like that.
In Italy, there is like in US, cinema, very nice. You can go out in the night. We hanging out a lot in the this beautiful cafe where we can you can stay there all afternoon. You drink cappuccino, or in the night we have the aperitif. The aperitif for the
Like
Italian
last night,
is
our
fantastic.
brother called and said, "Hey, do you guys want to go out for an aperitif?" And we said,
Aperitif,
"Sure." So the four of us and their daughter bundled up and drove around the corner.
We
Had,
Italian are very we rotate around the food.
yeah, they're a
Food and
food
drink.
culture.
We are food and drink culture. This one is our goal. When we go out for a hit or for a drink something, and we
Hmm.
have a fun together. But our problem is then nobody want to speak English with Brent because they are shy. And
Hmm.
after a while, I'm tired to translate to everybody or to exclude him, put him in a corner. I'm not ready to do this one. And most of the time, we stay home and we talk in English by ourselves.
It's been a spiritual exercise for me to learn how to
Sure.
just sit there and shut up and
Yeah.
listen.
That would be a challenging experience for me as well because you definitely want to engage. You want to get to know people. You want to connect
Yeah.
with people.
Yeah, you want to
And
talk, be part of the party and communicate and as you can probably tell already, I'm a talker. I like to toot my own horn and all that. And when you're with a bunch of Italians who don't speak English,
Yeah.
You literally have to just sit there, shut up, listen, do smile and do your best to be part of the party without being able to say a damn word.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
because the
could,
Italian,
Except for something like posso avere l'acqua per favore,
yeah. See, you're getting there. You're getting there, Brant.
poco poco, poco poco.
Yeah, that's great, you guys. Well, that's everything. I just let us know where the viewers can find you guys. You guys have a Substack. So what are the names
Yeah,
of the Substacks that they can where they can find you at?
Substack is kind of like a website, Facebook, Twitter mashup, if you can imagine that. It's a publishing platform, and
allora, Far and Wild is our book.
you can find Fabi at Fabi 27. That's the age she started traveling. Fabi is just like it sounds, Fabi 27 dot substack.com.
Okay.
And if you go in Zanzibar, just a couple of meters from the airport, we can find the 27 cafe. It is my baby.
I'll
Oh,
put up this. I don't know if this that barcode shows up there,
yes, it
but
does.
if they snap a picture of that barcode or scan it, it'll take them right to the book on Amazon.
On
Yeah,
Amazon.
great.
So
And
that's the
and
way
I'm
they
gonna
do.
go ahead and I'm gonna put all this information in the description that people can click on the link to join your
Thank
Substack as well.
And my Substack is brantx.substack.com. And my publications are different than Fabi's.
Yeah,
It's just a
he
different,
is a little bit polemic.
that means a troublemaker. I'm more willing to poke the bear than she is.
All right. Well, thank you, you two. Okay, I really appreciate you guys taking the time to do this again and share this this information, cost of living, and your experience in the world, but in particular Italy and in Melzo. Really appreciate it, and thank you for doing it.
It's our
Thank
pleasure,
you.
Ramy. It's been always nice to be on your show. Now I guess this is my second visit, right?
It is. Yep, it is. Actually, no, it's the third, Brent, because you did a little for the expat tip video that we did.
I remember
So
that.
now you're it's been the third time.
I'm a veteran.
Yeah, man. Okay, so I'm just gonna say, check this out. This is Brent's latest, the blue
That
sky for him.
actually,
Excellent read. Go
thank
ahead.
you. That's an older edition. I can tell by the cover photo. I just put out a new edition with a foreword by one of my favorite philosophers and thinkers, Dr. James Hollis, who is
Okay.
a leading Jungian psychoanalyst. And he actually read Blue Skyways and liked it and wrote me a sweetest letter, which then he rewrote as a foreword to the new edition. So the new paperback edition has got a picture of an airplane wing on it. So uh,
Okay.
I'll have to
Cool.
get you a new copy. But
Okay. Yeah.
same title, Blue Skyways on Amazon.
And then this is Fabi's book. Check it out, Far and Wild, and you will learn about all of the adventures she had through these 114 different countries. Wow. All right, guys. Well, thanks again, and have a great holiday, and I'll talk to you soon.
You too.